Obesity Bias and Expectations, Session Number 1. Hello, I'm Dr. Martyn Chilvers, Medical Director of the Triad Weight Loss Clinic in Sarnia, Ontario, Canada. Thank you for your interest in learning how to lose up to 30% of your current weight by following the methodology. This is a 6-part series showing you the steps that the Triad team and I take with patients to help them obtain their weight loss goals. This is the first part of the 6-part series. I'd also like to make it clear that the opinions expressed in this educational series are my own, and I have not been paid by anyone to promote any medication or treatment regimen. Okay, so the main topic of today's discussion is obesity bias. It's important that I address this first because it helps you understand the issues that are interfering with your successful weight loss. Unfortunately, obesity bias and the misunderstanding of the overweight is incredibly prevalent in our society today, and it greatly interferes with the management of weight loss. This bias and the stigma associated with obesity is seen all around us. It's seen in our government, it's seen in our health insurance industry, in our health system, and indeed in society as a whole, including you, the person who is suffering from weight trouble. The bias arises, at least in part, because of society's belief that obesity is under a person's control, and that the obese person could be slim if they wanted to be or chose to be. Society feels that the obese person could be thin if only they tried harder, exercised more, and ate healthily. I'm here to tell you that this is absolutely not true. Being obese is not a choice. Being obese is not your fault. These beliefs of society, though, are also ingrained in many of you who are obese. Because of a misunderstanding of what causes obesity, patients are often reluctant to take weight loss medication. Medication by some is seen as a crutch rather than a tool. You likely believe that you should be able to lose weight on your own, or remind yourself that you have achieved weight loss before, so you should be able to do it again. This time, you promise yourself that you will keep it off for good. You as well falsely believe that you should be able to control your food intake and lower your weight through sheer willpower. You might feel that you should not have to rely on medication to assist you with weight loss. Other patients, they accept that they need medication to help them lower their weight, but believe that once they are at their target weight, they should be able to maintain their weight by themselves by embracing a healthy lifestyle. These beliefs really are a manifestation of obesity bias. Unfortunately, those who are obese are suffering from a neuroendocrine disorder, a medical condition that prevents them from maintaining their target weight. And this medical condition requires lifelong treatment. Let me ask you, would you feel that you don't need medication to control your blood pressure? Or that once your blood pressure is controlled, that you no longer need the medication, as you should be able to control your blood pressure yourself? Probably not. We realize that we have no direct control over our blood pressure, and so we should realize that we have no direct control over our weight. This is an example of weight bias that I frequently see in obese patients. As a society, we've come to believe that obesity is a choice, a chosen lifestyle, if you will. we have even come to believe the stereotypes of overweight and obese people as being somewhat more slow, lazy, and gluttonous. All of this, of course, is totally incorrect nonsense. As you will learn in this series, obesity is very often a consequence of your genetics, along with environmental factors that are largely beyond your control. Obesity is a chronic disease that comes about through no fault of your own. It's really a manifestation of a mismatching of brain evolution when food was scarce with our current environment when food is plentiful. I mention brain evolution because it's largely your brain that determines your food intake. Obesity is a consequence of the neurohormonal drives that evolved in times of food scarcity. Think about it. We used to have to go out and hunt and gather food to survive, and strong mechanisms have evolved to ensure our survival. But today, your groceries, your ready-made and cooked meals can be delivered to your door with no more effort than typing a few keystrokes on your cell phone. Obesity has become the last area where discrimination is still acceptable within our society, although this is beginning to change. It's just not acceptable to weight discriminate and body shame of obesity. Stigmatizing needs to be seen for what it is, an example of shameful behavior. I found that many of my obese patients have low self-esteem and a sense of inadequacy and even despair at times. They blame themselves. I'm too weak-willed, they'll say. I've tried before and I've never really succeeded. I'm a major failure at this. Or, I don't like exercise and I'm no good at sports. These thoughts that you somehow lack the necessary character traits to lose weight make you feel bad about yourself and can further interfere with your success. Stop doing it. Say to yourself, my obesity is a progressive, chronic, medical condition. It has occurred through no fault of my own, and it requires treatment just like any other chronic medical condition. For instance, like high blood pressure or diabetes. You might be thinking, but I've tried all the diets, and although I've had some short-term success, none of them have worked for me in the long run. If that's what you're thinking, you're correct. Diets don't work. Apart from suggesting a healthy diet, like the Mediterranean diet, your treatment isn't very much about following a specific diet. It's really about changing behavior and taking medication like you would for any other chronic medical condition. Consider that you have never really had proper treatment for your medical condition. Consider that. Furthermore, consider that you have never had evidence-based treatment for your obesity. Treatment that has been medically proven to be effective. So really, you're not a failure. You simply have never had the correct treatment before. What I'm trying to accomplish in this section of the series is to change the narrative from shame and blame to the narrative of a chronic medical condition that requires chronic treatment. You might ask, why does it require treatment? I feel just fine in my own skin. You're still trying to shame me. Well, my answer is this. Obesity is an unhealthy medical state. It is associated with at least 40 other medical conditions, so-called comorbidities. it puts you at increased risk of developing any one of 11 types of cancers. Think about that. We also know that obesity can lead to social problems, psychological problems, financial problems, shorter life expectancy. So we really have good medical reason to treat obesity, and the medical model is recently becoming successful. In the past, doctors really didn't have the right tools to help patients effectively. A number of patients say to me, "Dr. Chilvers, I already know it's bad for me, but don't bother telling me all the statistics and all the details. Just tell me what to do." They don't seem to want to know what obesity can do to the body. So certainly denial can be useful in the short term in minimizing psychological discomfort. So I don't press the issue. I would like to do a talk on the consequences of obesity left untreated, but I'll wait to see if I get much request for this topic. Recall that I've said that obesity is a chronic disease, and like many chronic diseases, it requires self-management by the patient, just like diabetes requires self-management, but under the guidance of a knowledgeable physician. Self-management requires knowledge and education. Consider this series of talks the start of your education, so you have a framework to build your knowledge and skills upon. Now, I'd like to introduce the concept referred to as best weight, a concept developed by Dr. Friedhoff and Dr. Sharma. You probably are familiar with the concept of ideal weight, that so-called perfect weight for perfect health. For so many patients, this so-called ideal weight is simply not achievable given their specific genetic makeup, whereas we could all strive to achieve our best weight. Your best weight is the weight your body naturally stabilizes at while you're living your healthiest lifestyle that you can truly enjoy, and the lowest weight that you can sustain over the long term. My goal is to help you achieve your personal best weight. And as an analogy, an athletic runner looks to achieving their personal best, even though it may not be their Olympic best. Hey, we're not all born to have the physiques of Greek gods. Now, when we humans lose weight, we lose it more rapidly at first, and then the rate of weight loss slows as we approach our best weight, and it plateaus at this weight if one uses weight loss medication as well as following a healthy diet. The weight plateaus lower. And if one combines the medication with cognitive restructuring, your best weight will plateau even lower still. You might be interested to learn that the reason the rate of weight loss slows is not so much because your metabolism slows, but because you start eating more. Most people don't notice or appreciate that they are eating a little more. The biology of your brain is very powerful in getting you to change your behavior in part because on a primitive subconscious level, it thinks you are starving to death, and it simply won't let you do that. Losing weight is not natural, so we are trying to thwart nature and change the natural course of your neurohormonal biology. And this is really why weight loss is so difficult and such a struggle. This means that it is normal and natural to have difficulty losing weight and to keep it off. As a doctor, I am always trying to thwart nature and interfere with the natural course of disease. Wish you all the best on your weight loss journey. I'll see you next week for session number 2, the role of diet, exercise, and calorie deficit. Now, if you enjoyed this series of talks on modern medical weight management and find them useful or educational, then please share them with your family, friends, and neighbors who you think may be interested in viewing them. If you enjoyed the video and found it worthwhile, please click on the thumbs up icon and subscribe to my YouTube channel by pressing the subscribe button below. If you wish to read my book on this subject, you will find it on Amazon. Thank you. Good day.